Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and find the signal, pulling out those key insights from, well, just the sheer volume of information out there.
Ready to dive in.
Great. So today we're tackling a really fascinating philosophy. It's ancient, but honestly, it feels incredibly relevant right now. Stoicism. Now, I think for a lot of people, if you say Stoic, the image that pops up is maybe someone a bit rigid, unfeeling, kind of bottling everything up.
Yeah, that's definitely the popular image, the stiff upper lip kind of thing.
Exactly. But is that really what the philosophy is all about?
Well, it's a simplification, isn't it? A big one, actually. Patience, endurance, sure, they're part of it. But that image really misses the depth and the practical wisdom behind Stoicism.
Okay.
So our goal today, our deep dive, is really to unpack what Stoicism truly is. It's this ancient path, a framework, really, for resilience, for inner peace. And it's still remarkably useful in, our crazy modern world.
Right. So the mission is to explore its origins, see how it evolved, meet some of the key figures.
Zeno, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, those guys. And unpack the core principles. But like you said, go beyond just the history. How did it end up influencing things like, say, modern therapy?
Exactly. Things like CBT, mindfulness.
Right. And offer you, the listener, some actual practical tools, things you can use to build resilience and maybe find a bit more purpose. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
So Stoicism, fundamentally, it's a school of ancient Greek philosophy, right?
Okay.
And it emphasizes self-control, resilience when things get tough.
That's the core, yeah, building character. But central to that for the Stoics was this idea that the world, the universe, operates according to a fundamental reason. They called it logos.
Logos, okay.
And the philosophy teaches that real peace, real tranquility, comes from understanding how this rational universe works and then trying your best to live in harmony with it.
Living in harmony with nature or reason.
Exactly. For them, it wasn't just a nice idea. It was, fundamental to living a good, flourishing life. What they called eudaimonia.
Eudaimonia. That sounds richer than just happiness. More like human flourishing.
Yeah.
Living your best potential.
That's a much better translation, yeah. Flourishing. And the path to get there, for the Stoics, was all about virtue.
Okay, virtue. So what did that mean specifically? What were the key virtues for them?
Right. They pinpointed 4 cardinal virtues, and they saw them as totally interconnected, like pillars supporting eudaimonia. You couldn't really have one without the others.
Got it. So what are they?
Okay, first, wisdom. And this isn't just being smart, it's practical knowledge, knowing what's really good, what's bad, and what's just indifferent.
Indifferent, meaning it doesn't affect your virtue.
Precisely. So wisdom involves understanding the world, valuing logic, knowing yourself, making reasoned choices, basically navigating life with clear judgment.
Okay, wisdom. What's next?
Second, courage. And again, it's broader than just battlefield bravery. It's moral strength. The strength to face adversity, discomfort, pain, even death without losing your integrity. Standing up for what's right, Seneca actually said something like, you have to feel fear to conquer it.
Oh, interesting. So it's not about not being afraid.
No, not at all. It's about acting virtuously despite the fear. That's resilience.
Makes sense. Third,
temperance. Or, self-control, moderation.
Yeah.
It's about balancing your desires, your impulses, choosing long-term well-being over quick fixes or fleeting pleasures, mastering yourself so you're not ruled by your appetites. Seneca also quipped, pleasures, when they go beyond a certain limit, are but punishments.
I like that. Okay. And the fourth?
Finally, justice. This is about how you treat others. Fairness, equity, respecting their rights and dignity.
So social responsibility.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Contributing to the common good, being honest, kind. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. What injures the hive injures the bee. It highlights that we're all interconnected.
Wow. Wisdom, courage, temperance, justice. Those are the building blocks for eudaimonia. Now, how does this idea of apatheia fit in? Yeah. That sounds like apathy, which feeds that unemotional stereotype.
Yes, apatheia. That's a really crucial one to clarify. It's easily misunderstood. It does not mean apathy or being emotionless.
Okay.
It means achieving a state of equanimity, being unmoved by irrational, destructive passions or emotions. It's about keeping your rational mind in control.
So it's not about not feeling things.
Not at all. It's about feeling appropriately, acknowledging emotions, but not being swept away or controlled by them. Your reason, your virtue, stays in the driver's seat. That's absolutely essential for eudaimonia. You can't flourish if you're constantly derailed by anger or fear or excessive desire.
That makes a lot more sense. It's emotional regulation, not suppression.
Precisely. A very sophisticated kind of regulation.
Yeah. Okay, so this whole framework, it didn't just spring up overnight, right? It developed over time. Let's trace that journey, starting back in Greece.
Absolutely. It all began around 300 BCE in Athens. The founder was Zeno of Citium. Apparently, he used to teach in a public colonnade called the Stoa Poikile, the painted porch, which is where the name Stoicism comes from.
Oh, the Stoa. Got it.
His early ideas had some roots in the Cynics, especially their focus on virtue and living according to nature. But while Zeno laid the groundwork, it was really his successors who fleshed it out.
Like who?
Well, Cleanthes followed Zeno, but the real heavyweight developer was Chrysippus. He's credited with truly systematizing Stoic logic and physics, especially the idea of fate or providence.
Fate. So everything's predetermined.
That was a core part of it, yes. They believed in a rational, ordered universe where nothing happens without a cause. But, and this is key, Chrysippus argued strongly for a kind of free will within that determinism.
How's that work? Seems contradictory.
Well, his argument was basically that while external events might be fated, our response to those events, our judgment, our assent, is entirely up to us. That internal freedom is where our virtue lies.
Okay, that's subtle. So the Greeks laid the foundation, developed the logic, then it moves to Rome.
Exactly. And in Rome, it really transformed. It became less purely academic and much more a practical guide for living, even for running an empire.
Who are the key players in Rome?
A pivotal figure bridging the gap was Panaetius. He kind of softened some of the stricter metaphysical parts, made it more accessible to the Roman mindset, and influenced big names like Cicero.
Okay.
Then you have these really famous Roman Stoics. Epictetus, incredible story. He was born a slave, then became this hugely influential teacher.
A slave teaching philosophy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
His focus was super practical.
Right.
Differentiate what you can control from what you can't. That's the core of his Enchiridion, his handbook.
Control.
Who else?
Seneca. He was a statesman, a writer, very wealthy, actually.
Yeah.
His writings are full of practical advice on living virtuously amidst the complexities of power and life. He even practiced days of poverty, apparently.
Days of poverty. Why?
To remind himself that luxury wasn't essential for a good life, to build resilience against losing it. It's smart. And of course, Marcus Aurelius.
The philosopher king himself, one of the 5 good emperors. His meditations, they weren't meant for publication. They were his personal journal, his reflections on applying Stoic principles to his life, and his immense responsibilities.
Wow. Like a private workbook.
Exactly, trying to rule according to wisdom, justice, courage, temperance. And his reflections have resonated for centuries. Oh, and we should mention Cato the Younger.
Cato. I know the name, but not as a writer.
Right, he didn't write anything that survived, but he was seen as the embodiment of Stoic virtue in action. His integrity as a soldier and senator standing against corruption, he became a symbol for Roman traditionalists.
So a real mix of people, slaves, statesmen, emperors. But wasn't it sometimes unpopular? Didn't some emperors push back against it?
Oh, definitely. While Marcus Aurelius embraced it, others, like Vespasian and later Domitian, saw Stoic philosophers as potential critics or threats. There were periods of persecution, exile. It wasn't always smooth sailing. Shows these ideas could be seen as challenging to unchecked power.
Okay, that historical context is really helpful. Now, let's tackle that confusion point we mentioned earlier. The difference between Stoicism, the philosophy, and just being stoic as an adjective.
And this is so important because the everyday English word stoic usually means, like you said, unemotional, maybe passively enduring things, having that stiff upper lip.
Right.
And while that touches on aspects like endurance and self-control, it's really not the full picture. It can be quite misleading, actually.
How so?
Because the philosophical Stoic isn't trying to be emotionless or apathetic. They're aiming for deep emotional regulation, for inner peace, not by shutting feelings down, but by understanding them through reason.
Okay, so they still feel things.
Absolutely. Think about Marcus Aurelius. His meditations are full of reflections on kindness, social duty, empathy. He saw getting angry or isolating yourself as a kind of sickness, a cancerous alienation, he called it.
Wow, strong words.
Yeah, a true Stoic sage in their ideal is profoundly rational, yes, but also deeply kind and committed to the common good, not just some cold fish.
So maybe having that stiff upper lip, showing courage or self-control is like a necessary part of being a Stoic in tough times.
It could be, yes. It demonstrates certain virtues.
But it's definitely not enough on its own to be a Stoic in the philosophical sense.
Exactly. That requires the whole package. The commitment to virtue, the reason, the understanding of what's in your control, the connection to others. It's a whole way of life, much deeper than just not showing you're upset.
That clarification is huge. Okay, so bringing it forward. What does this ancient way of thinking mean for us today? How does it connect to modern life, modern psychology?
The connections are incredibly strong, actually, especially with modern psychology. The most striking example is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
Right, CBT is huge now.
And it shares a fundamental premise with Stoicism. Epictetus famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things."
Okay, so it's about perception.
Exactly, and that is the absolute cornerstone of CBT. In fact, Albert Ellis, who founded REBT, a precursor to CBT, and Aaron Beck, the founder of CBT proper, both explicitly pointed to Stoicism as the philosophical grandparent of their approaches.
No kidding. They actually cited the Stoics.
Oh, yeah. The core technique in CBT, identifying your automatic negative thoughts, challenging the evidence for them, finding more balanced ways to think, and then acting on that.
Yeah.
That's basically a modern version of the Stoic discipline of assent, scrutinizing your first impressions and deciding rationally whether to agree with them.
Huh. So when Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality.
That's pure CBT. It's about reality testing your fears and assumptions. And you could almost see Marcus Aurelius' meditations as like the world's first CBT journal, reflecting on his thoughts, his patterns.
That's fascinating, the ancient roots of modern therapy.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond therapy, too. Think about mindfulness and meditation.
Okay, how does Stoicism connect there?
Well, the ancient Stoic practice of prasosh, which means something like attention or mindfulness, is very similar to modern mindfulness. It's about constantly observing your own thoughts and actions, staying present.
Paying attention to the present moment.
Exactly. And Stoic exercises like contemplating impermanence or the view from above, imagining things from a vast cosmic perspective.
Right, putting things in perspective.
Those are powerful techniques, very much like mindfulness exercises, for managing emotions and reducing the impact of setbacks. And journaling, which we mentioned with Marcus Aurelius, is a big practice for modern Stoics too.
So it connects to therapy, mindfulness.
But it's also more than just a set of techniques. Stoicism offers a whole philosophy of life, aiming for that long-term resilience and sense of purpose, not just symptom reduction. And importantly, the Stoics valued reason and seeking wisdom, which aligns perfectly with seeking professional help like therapy when needed. Self-improvement doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Okay, so for someone listening now thinking, this sounds interesting, maybe even useful, what are the real tangible benefits of trying to live a bit more stoically?
The benefits can be really profound. First off, reduce stress and anxiety. That's a big one.
How did that work?
By learning to focus your energy squarely on what you can control, your thoughts, your choices, your actions, and genuinely letting go of what you can't, you find a lot more peace, less worrying about outcomes you can't dictate.
Okay, less wasted energy. Makes sense. What else?
Enhanced resilience, mental toughness. By practicing emotional regulation, maybe even deliberately facing small discomforts, you build the capacity to handle bigger life challenges when they inevitably arrive. You turn obstacles into training.
Training for life's difficulties.
Exactly. Third, a greater sense of presence and purpose. The practice of memento mori, remembering that life is finite.
Meditating on death. Sounds a bit grim.
It sounds grim, but the effect is the opposite. It makes you value the present moment more. It clarifies your priorities. It encourages you to live fully, virtuously, now, because time is limited. It adds meaning.
Ah, okay. Like appreciating what you have.
Precisely. Fourth, greater efficiency and focus. When you clearly distinguish controllable from uncontrollable, you stop wasting time and mental energy on things you can't change. You can focus your efforts much more effectively. Viktor Frankl, who wasn't a Stoic but whose work resonates, noted that when meaning is lacking, people often chase pleasure as a distraction. Stoicism provides that meaning.
Right. Focus on meaningful action.
And finally, improve self-awareness and character. Daily reflection, journaling like Marcus Aurelius, consciously trying to live by your values. It leads to better decisions, a stronger sense of integrity, just knowing yourself better.
Less stress, more resilience, presence, focus, self-awareness. That's a compelling list. So the big question then, how does someone actually start? What are some practical things they can do, like today?
Okay, yeah, let's make it practical. There are several core exercises. First, and maybe most fundamental, is practicing the dichotomy of control.
We mentioned that control versus no control.
Right. So whenever you feel stressed or upset, consciously ask, what aspects of the situation are truly within my control and what aspects are not? Write it down even. Then make a deliberate choice to focus only on your actions, your efforts, your responses, the things you can control, and mentally release the rest, the outcomes, other people's reactions.
Focus on effort, not outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Second, voluntary discomfort, or premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils.
Sounds intense.
It just means deliberately experiencing small, manageable discomforts. Maybe take a cold shower, skip a meal occasionally, walk when you could drive, sleep on the floor one night.
Why on earth would you do that?
To build resilience, to appreciate what you normally have, to prove to yourself you can handle discomfort. It inoculates you against future, unavoidable hardships. It's like training your resilience muscle.
Okay, like a mental toughness drill.
Got it. Third, daily reflection. Super important. Either morning or evening, take a few minutes. Plan your day with virtue in mind, or review the day that passed. Ask yourself, what did I do well according to my values? Where did I fall short? What can I learn? Journaling helps immensely here.
Like Marcus Aurelius' journal.
Exactly. Getting thoughts down on paper, maybe even referring to yourself in the third person sometimes, creates cognitive distance. It helps you analyze things more objectively.
Good tip. What else?
Contemplating transience and the view from above. Regularly remind yourself that everything is temporary possessions, situations, even life itself. And practice zooming out, seeing your problems from a cosmic perspective. How significant is this annoyance in the grand scheme of the universe?
Puts things in perspective fast.
Definitely helps moderate emotions. Also, simply show up every day. Consistency is key. Dedicate focused time to your work, your responsibilities, your practice. Build that mental endurance through consistent action.
Just doing the work.
Right. And, crucially, keep out the critics. Remember that other people's opinions are external, outside your control. Don't outsource your self-worth or peace of mind to what others might think or say. Listen to constructive feedback, sure, but don't let praise or blame dictate your inner state.
Protect your inner citadel, as they say.
That's the idea. And finally, try to limit desires and aversions. Accept the natural flow of events as much as possible. Don't pin your happiness on specific outcomes happening or specific things not happening. Find contentment within in your virtuous actions, regardless of external circumstances.
Wow, that's a lot to practice, but it sounds like a powerful toolkit.
It is. It takes practice like any skill, but it's incredibly effective.
So wrapping this deep dive up, we've really seen Stoicism not as that cold, unemotional stereotype, but as a deeply practical, quite profound philosophy for living a flourishing life.
Focusing on virtue, wisdom, courage, temperance, justice, and building that inner resilience, living intentionally.
Right. It's about managing emotions rationally, not denying them.
Absolutely. And as we saw, its wisdom has echoed through history, from emperors wrestling with ruling an empire.
Right down to modern individuals just trying to navigate daily life and find some well-being today.
It offers this timeless, really applicable framework, still incredibly relevant.
Definitely. So maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. If you really took these Stoic principles to heart, what's one external outcome, one thing outside your direct control that you could genuinely decide to let go of starting today? And what internal action, something completely within your power, would you choose to focus on instead?
Good question to ponder.
Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Stoicism.
My pleasure.